How's it going? This is Hoiman, and today we're taking a look at the Totaku Viewtiful Joe figure. So looking at Joe's face, I feel that they've definitely captured the likeness of his character. Looks like him from pretty much all angles, and then the expression is really well done, I feel. Really captures the character. So the eyes are nicely painted on, and they are painted on with a nice yellow, but I feel it would have been nice if they were metallic yellow, just to make them stand out a bit more. But with how it looks now, it's just fine. The mouth is really well sculpted. You can even see inside to his teeth and then his tongue as well. And then the paint job is okay for the most part, but there is a bit of a paint bleed from the black to his tongue, so it's quite noticeable. And then his little goatee is painted on quite nicely as well. For the helmet itself, it's really well sculpted, it's nice and smooth. And there is a bit of a seam line that runs around the side of his helmet and the bottom here, but isn't super noticeable. And then the white is painted on okay, but there is quite a lot of bleeding in some areas where it meets the edge. And you can see how it's quite noticeable here as well. And then the V on his forehead is really well sculpted. It's painted in nice metallic colours. But I will say the tips are a bit blunted off just to make it safe. And they are somewhat solid as well, so you have to be careful you don't break them. Down to his body, it's really well sculpted for the most part. You can see all the muscle definition. But because there isn't really any shading on the figure, it does kind of get lost in the sculpt a bit. So it would be nice if there was some darker shades just to bring out the muscle definition a bit more. And then just like the helmet, the white here is a bit sloppy in some areas. And then there's really odd scuffs and paint marks as well. There's a seam line that runs down the torso and then down to his legs and then some on his arms as well. And because it's on a red colour, they are quite noticeable as well. The belt is nicely sculpted, nice and metallic, but the black does bleed onto the red a bit. The gloves are nicely sculpted. You can see all the details in the fingers. Really expressive. But again, there is the seam line that kind of runs down the arm. And that's the same for his other arm as well. But again, it is really well sculpted. His legs, really well sculpted. But again, you can see the seam lines that run down, especially on the white parts. And then finally, you have the scarf, which is really well sculpted. You can see all the creases and folds. But again, there is a seam line that runs across the entire length, and because it's on such a bright colour, it's quite noticeable. And it's actually a very solid part, so it's to use to support the figure. And in the base itself, it's okay. It's just a rock pavement with a nice wash over it. It's a bit bland. I feel that it doesn't quite capture the world of Viewtiful Joe's game that well, but overall it does work. And in the base you have legal stuff. So my final thoughts are, overall I'm really happy they went with this pose for Viewtiful Joe. It just really captures the character and pretty much just captures what his whole game is about. Just really stylish, really over the top and really expressive. And if you're a fan of this character or the games, then I could highly recommend this figure, especially since there aren't many figures of Joe available. The only one that's really available is the one by First Full Figures, but not everyone can afford that. So this is definitely a much cheaper alternative. And for the quality, overall, it's pretty solid. So overall, this is a very nice looking Totaku. Again, if you're a fan of the character, then I can recommend this figure. But that's my review. Thank you for watching and enjoy some pictures.